Hey guys, welcome back to another Virgo Girl recommendation. Today's recommendation I'm so excited to tell you about, so much so that I honestly have not finished the series because it's still ongoing, but it's that good. It is literally that good that I had to recommend it to you so you can watch it now. So basically this show is it's set place back in the day when the Lakers actually, and I never even knew about this. I guess at one time the Lakers were not even a thing. Like people were like, who? What? Like no one even cared about the NBA. It was like nothing. So this was back then, and it's the show is about the rise. So basically, it's called Winning Time: The Rise of the Lakers Dynasty. I mean, that's it. That's what the show is about. So it shows you the beginning, and it's such an amazing thing to watch because I had no idea. This was a long, long time ago, before my time, that all this happened. So basically, they show. Okay, let's start with the cinematography. It looks like it's back in the 70s. It looks like it's like in the 70s and the 80s. And you can tell that they wanted you to feel that nostalgic feeling. So they made it, there's no way you can mistakenly think, oh, this looks like it's for 2022 and they're just pretending to be, like back in the olden days. No, this doesn't look like a set that was just built up. This looked like they were really, really back in those days. They did such an amazing job with the the areas in Los Angeles. They put the scenes that they shot in LA. They made it look like it is, it was back then, back in those days. And so they took things from back in the, footage from back in those days and then put it in there. So you would, feel that nostalgic feeling. Like I said, like they showed things that would be how it would look back in the 70s in LA. And it's crazy. It's so crazy. And I live in LA, so I totally, can see the difference, of course, as opposed to what it looks like now and, what it looks like back then. Anyway, the costumes, you guys, amazing. Like the hair, I mean, it looks like very dated. Like you can tell it's from the 70s. Like, people aren't wearing their hair like that now. And you just feel like you're back in that day. Like, I love this. And everything down to even the quality of the film. Now, when I say quality of the film, I don't want to say this in the wrong way. It looks great. Like it's on HBO Max. You're watching it. It's not like you're watching like, oh God, this looks terrible. No, they did it to where it's the same type of kind of quality, basically what films would look like back then. So what I'm saying is it looks like kind of grainy. The color is a little bit different. Everything is just different. I don't know. I don't know how they did it, but everything looks like what it would look back in those days. So they did an amazing job on that. Also, they, as far as the language that they use, of course, in every movie when they do it, like for the 70s and 80s, they always use the language, but I feel like they nailed it, like even better than any show I've seen in a very long time. It was like, if you go back and watch a show from the 70s, like a sitcom from the 70s or 80s, this is what they must have just really, really taken footage from, olden days and looked at it and then just modeled it, because I just can't believe they didn't miss a beat when it came to putting in everything that looks like that particular time and that era. I mean, they just didn't miss a beat. And then Magic, the guy, let's talk about the guy. First of all, the guy they picked to play Magic, perfection. Like the smile, the mannerisms, the way he speaks. Like I feel that they did such a wonderful job, like in this. Now, I didn't know. I don't. Of course, I've seen Magic now that he's older and everything, but just like the smile, and then I did Google some pictures of him when he was younger. I feel like they definitely picked the right guy. I love that it's just, oh my God, I love this series. They dig into Magic's life, like when he was younger. And when I say Magic, I'm talking about Magic Johnson, because Magic Johnson was, I guess, one of the main players that got the Lakers, that made them what they are today. So that's how they're making this film. Like it was like late, he was there at the beginning when they weren't anybody. And then he's the one that took them to where they need to be. That's how they're kind of like showing the show to go. So Magic, they show him like as a young player, in high school and everything. They show his hometown days back in Michigan. I believe he's from Lansing. They show him interacting with his people and, like Lansing, his family, his friends. It's just amazing. And you get to see like little tidbits of how he grew up, how he treated his friends, how he treated, like his girlfriend. It shows Cookie, his now wife. I guess they were dating even when they were kids. It shows that. It's just crazy. And then just seeing how him and Cookie interacted back then and how he was. I guess he's always been like a little player. They showed all of that. They showed his mom and his dad. His mom was really, really religious. And it's just amazing, all the details. And then they also, it's not just him, of course, but his little part stuck out to me because I didn't realize that they were going to go so deep into his personal life. And then they also talked about the guy, Dr. Buss is his name. I guess he was like the first guy to start off. He was the guy, Jerry Buss. He was the one that was there in the beginning. He bought the Lakers, and he was the one that started taking them to stardom. Because he actually was the one that also recruited Magic. He really wanted Magic on the team. They were like, the head coach at the time was like fighting him. He didn't want to, he didn't want Magic. But the guy, Jerry Buss, who owned the Lakers, he wanted Magic. And it's so weird how he knew that Magic was going to be the one, it's just crazy because we see it now, hindsight is 2020, but he really believed in Magic before Magic was Magic, his name was already Magic, but before he was like this superstar, he really believed in this kid. So that was amazing too, just to see the dynamic. And there's just so much more to it. It also digs into the head coach. He had some issues with just being, they showed him like being depressed, and he also played basketball, and it showed how he, just the things that he went through. And man, it's crazy. Like when you watch it and see how much they went through in the beginning and how they had to really fight. They were all, he actually was in the red. Like when he bought the Lakers, the Jerry Buss guy, he basically gave everything to buy the Lakers, and he was basically down to nothing. Like he didn't have, as far as his money goes, he really went in the negative to get this team because he really believed in it. And one thing I really thought when I watched this, it really shows how, like, when you believe in something and you put your mind to it, it can happen. You know what I mean? Like, I really believe if you put your mind to it, there's nothing you can't do in life. I'm one of those people, but I also believe that it has to be something that you're passionate about and you have to believe in it. So it's like, if you just say, oh, I want to do something better, but you're not really passionate about it, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying there are things in life that when you're passionate about it and people are telling you, no, you can't do that, whatever. But when you really believe in yourself and it's something, a cause that you believe in, there's nothing anyone can say. And 9 times out of 10, you're going to accomplish it. And that right there is just really crazy how that works. But it's like you're manifesting it, and it just works when you really, really believe in it. But the key is it has to be something you really believe in. You have to believe in yourself and really be passionate about it. At any rate, it also shows young Pat Riley. Oh my God, and his struggles. Man, it talks about his life. It talks about Jerry. So Jerry West was the guy that I was referring to, the head coach, that he, it was showing him like being really depressed and showing all the things that he went through in his childhood and everything, showing like some stressful things, he went through in his childhood. it just really digs deep in a way that is perfect. Like, it's not too much and it's not too little. They are giving me life. They're giving me everything I need in this show, because these are things that I would never have known. A lot of these people I have never even heard of. And it's so good to see the background of the Lakers, because I know the Lakers more, like modern. So it's so cool to see like how they started before we even knew about them, and before they were the Lakers. And they were, a team that everyone, I mean, the Lakers, it's like a house. I mean, of course, it's like a household name. Like, everyone knows the Lakers. It's such a famous team. But to see that back in the day, they were just like, people were like, who? Like, they were just, it didn't exist the way it did now. And how these people worked so hard to build this team. It also showed like the entertainment. Like, of course, everyone has heard of the Laker girls, but it showed how before this was pre-Laker girls, so they just showed like what they were trying to do to get entertainment and all of that. It's just crazy. They haven't shown the Lakers girls yet in any of the episode I've seen, but of course that's coming, because that's what they're doing. They're trying to build this team up, and they're trying to do things to get the crowd coming. So in a lot of the episodes, they have been talking about entertainment and what they can do to entertain people, and they're just trying to do everything they can to draw people to the stadium. Because that's another thing. People weren't coming to Lakers games, and that just sounds like unheard of in today's time. But back then, it was like people were like, whatever. Some people were going, but it was like not something that people were going to in the way that they are now. Not even close to the way they are going to now. People, it was just not a big deal to go to a Lakers game. It was just like no one really cared about the team like that, or the NBA, period. So it's just crazy to me how, gosh, there's so much we don't know. Like, when you live like today, you think, oh my gosh, the Lakers. And I've always thought the Lakers were just like the Lakers, this big team. And here I am watching this show realizing, wow, once upon a time, they had it really rough. But at any rate, it is an amazing series, guys. I highly recommend it, especially if you like basketball. Oh my God, you're really going to love the series, because it talks, of course, they're talking about basketball, and they're talking about like the individual people in basketball and what they had to do. They're like blood, sweat, and tears, and what they put into it. And then like their backstories, and then, their personal lives. So to me, it's so interesting. I absolutely love it. I am on pins and needles every week waiting to see the next episode, because it came out, I think, so far I've watched the 4 episodes that are out now. I've watched them, but I have to wait for the next episode to come out. They didn't just put them all up. They just kind of released them weekly. And the first week they actually released 2 videos. And then, so that's what I'm waiting for the new one to come out. But so far, so good, guys. It is amazing. I can't say enough about this show. It has my attention. I haven't seen a dull moment. There hasn't been a dull moment at all. It's just amazing. Amazing writing, amazing acting, the cinematography, like just perfection. Perfect costumes, everything. I love it. And once again, I see awards coming for this one for sure. I don't see how this cannot win awards with the amazing job that they're doing on this series. All right, guys. Once again, it is the winning time, the rise of the Lakers dynasty. It's on HBO Max. And until next time, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe. Peace.